Hello, good morning. And welcome everyone. A little bit sprinkly out, getting a little bit of June rain, right? The end of June. So welcome to today's worship, and we're grateful for your presence here. And my name is Michael Huber. I'm the service coordinator here today. And for today, our souls, not just for today, but always, our mission here is to seek truth, practice love, and celebrate life. Can you hear me okay, right? Whether you're joining for the first time or you've been here a number of times or been a member for many years, you are all welcome here. Whatever your faiths you have known or not known, whatever your heritage, you are welcome here. Whatever your questions you hold, whatever truths you seek, whatever sorrow you have known, whatever joy has filled your heart, whatever and whoever and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Whatever your legal status or wherever you were born, you're also welcome here. So first we would like to start off with some announcements, and I have one that was handed to me here. So let me page through. It gets complicated up here sometimes. Not too complicated. The petition to put the sales tax increase on the ballot, to put it on the ballot. So it's just a petition so that we can vote. The legislature has voted to increase sales tax to give credit or give a discount to people that have property, so they get a discount on their property tax. So there's a petition to put that particular law on the ballot, and that will be for the November ballot. Those will be downstairs if anyone wants to sign those, and we usually take that break after the service downstairs for coffee and treats. So if you want to sign that, that will be down there. And one other announcement is Tuesday for the election. This is one of the polling places for Sioux Falls. So there's no church activities happening Tuesday evening, or Tuesday during the day, actually. It's all not during the evening, during the day. So don't plan any activities then. One announcement I have myself is not this Thursday, but a week from this Thursday, I'm starting and I'm still trying to think of the name of it, but right now the name I'm coming up with is Fabulous Financial Foundations and Financial Independence. So it's an hour course, but it's not really a course. What it more or less is, and it's free at the library, downtown library, 6 p.m. on Thursdays for the whole month of July. And more or less, it's a place where you can come, and I have a lot of information that I'll provide on finances, putting together your financial plan, some of the why that you have, which Sky is going to talk about today. Why do you want financial independence? And then mostly I want people to just talk with each other and kind of build a network of talking about finances, because it's one of those things like religion and politics that it seems like it's maybe third, would you say, on the level. You're not supposed to talk about first religion, you're not supposed to talk about politics, and you never talk about each other's finances, right? Because that's kind of off bars. And I think Alan has an announcement, and any others that have announcements, please line up.
My announcement is kind of a sober one. We've learned of the passing
Can't
of...
hear you.
Oh, well, we heard you. I'll try to talk. It's on? It's not coming through.
Mike, you broke it.
Yeah, Mike just talked so loud we couldn't.
How about this? Is this any better?
No.
No. Okay, we'll have to have Terry check on this. We heard you want one of these. Oh, good idea.
Test 1, 2, test.
Thank you, Mike. When all else fails, do something common sense. It's not one of my forte. We've learned the passing of Sherry Wright's mother. You remember Sherry and Eric, who have lived in Salem and been here a lot. And last summer at this time, Sherry was bringing these wonderful desserts every Sunday. Anyway, they were taking care of her mother in their home, and she died last month. So there will be a sympathy card downstairs to sign if you'd like to do that.
Thank you, Alan. Any other announcements? I think Barb is coming on forward.
Hi, I'm Barb, and some of you know that I'm dual churched and I've never cut my Lutheran roots. But anyway, Saturday night at Our Savior's, there's going to be a traveling children's performance of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Coat. The music is wonderful. It's written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and it's free will offering, 7 o'clock at Our Savior's.
Thank you, Barb. Did you have something, Terry?
Good morning. I just want to remind folks, on behalf of my boss, that we are serving the banquet Tuesday night. There need to be 3 people who will help prepare the meals from 2, I think, to 4, and then we need to have 7 or 8 people to serve from 5:30 to 7:30, 7:45. So if you have not signed up and would like to, please contact Sue Ann, a.k.a. the boss. You have to know where your bread is buttered, or never mind. Anyway, please let her know and sign in. If you're not interested, that's fine, but we are doing that. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Alan. And no other announcements? One other thing that I didn't mention in there is making sure that you're signed up to the email blast that comes out once a week. If you have problems with that, let us know and make sure that we keep you connected in the circle. And let's see, let's just move into a prelude. Let's do that. Outstanding.
I don't think I'm supposed to clap right now, but that is so beautiful. I just can't.
I was going to say, well, I wasn't going to say exactly that, but I was going to say that was wonderful. It's appreciate the work that she does in coming up with so many different things to play, and also her proficiency at doing so. And the chalice lighting, I didn't really plan for this ahead. Does anybody feel like they want to get up and walk around after all that music? I see some movement here. And so welcome up, Scott, please light the chalice, and I will read 429. You can read along. How about we just all read along together? If you're there, 429 in the gray hymnal. He's tracking down, as he's tracking fire down, right? I think. Is there fire in there, or does anybody have fire? We're running low on wax, too, if anybody has wax. No. Might have to say the, hey. We have a fake fire, electric fire too. So 429, if we're ready, come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of prophecy and power and let its vision change your heart. William F. Schultz. Thank you. Very, very nice. Thanks for the choice, the selection, Alan. We have real fire. Okay, and opening song, if you'd like to, and if you're able to stand, please stand to number 42, "Morning So Fair to See," the same gray hymnal. Thank you. Thank you all. And now we're gonna see if we can go back into early 1900s here. And we're going to see if we can't listen to Robert Frost on The Road Not Taken, his voice recorded way, way back before all the digital stuff. So we're going to see if this works, right?
Kind of reminds me of Dead Poets Society. Dead Poets Society.
Diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be
Turn it
one
up.
traveler.
No,
Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing dared had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Excellent. All right. Yeah, her choice. Yeah. And yeah, as you know, her talk will be about knowing your why. He's one of the leaders in that, knowing that. So, story for all ages. We have all ages from maybe what would you say, about 30, 40 to 50 to, we don't have any from the 50 below. But I do have a couple things, and I'm doing something a little different, so I think I'll just move right into it. I guess I need to go up here, right? So what I did, I didn't pick out a children's book. As you can see, those that's not a children's book, right? So what I did is I was going to talk to the younger folks about, and everybody, is digital compared to a regular book, right? And you know, one thing I've kind of been, for years, I've moved over to using an iPad, this huge one, and reading books from, and I'm an advocate. I download books from Google, usually Google Books. And one thing I like about Google Books is I can download like an intro or a sample first, and then I can read that sample, and I determine, well, if you know, then that's free. And if I read it all, then I'll pay for it if I like it and continue on. So that's one thing I really do like about this, and you can read fairly quickly on an iPad because I can scroll pretty fast, faster than I can probably turn pages. However, I still do like regular books, and I just bought what prompted me to want to do a talk on regular books today was I just happened to be at Barnes and Noble on Tuesday, I think it was, and I went in and bought these two particular books. And so what I was gonna do and show kids and the rest of the group. That's just a fan. Is you know, the beautiful thing about a book that I think most of us know is that you can just open up and start reading anywhere in a book a lot of times, and specifically the books that I usually read are typically nonfiction books. You can just almost grab a book and start reading anywhere, and I feel like I can get something out of it. And the two books that I happened to choose are books that are really easy to do that with. And I put a couple tabs in here. This one is it was 50% off, by the way, at Barnes & Noble. If you want to go get this, if you buy one, you get one for 50% off. What if we get it right? Visions of Climate Futures. And so I just tabbed a few things, like you know, if I wanted to just open the book up, and I kind of did that you know, I just pulled up this section on replenish and green. What if we look to nature for solutions? What if smaller farms can thrive? What if food systems are regional and regenerative? What if we revive rural communities? What if we revive revere biodiversity and photosynthesis? What if we were good neighbors to other species? What if we live within nature instead of on top of it? So right there, I've just jumped into something. If I wanted to read more about that, I could do so. And then another section I liked of hers here is transformation. The time has come for us to reimagine everything, to become the new kind of people that are needed at such a huge period of transition. We must transform ourselves to transform the world. Grace Lee Boggs. So I think it's a great book, and one can easily jump around. And one point I wanted to make about the end, that's the beautiful thing about a book that's so much easier than the digital version. I guess you can do it in the digital version. Go right to the end, and I can read the end of it and see, well, is it a book I like, right? I know, and sometimes that's sacrilegious. Don't read the end first, but nonfiction, it typically doesn't matter, right? Fiction is where you kind of don't want to do that. The other book, this is one of my favorite authors. I don't know if any of you have read some of his stuff. You've all known Harari. He wrote *Sapiens*. And that was the first book I read of his, and I really like a lot of things about that book. This one is 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. So, no, again, an easy one to just page through, and I opened up, this first section, disillusionment. I would have kind of talked to the kids about what is disillusionment and things like that. Then work, and this kind of relates a little bit to Sky's talk. When you grow up, you might not have a job. And we've kind of heard some of things being said about that. And so I think that's an interesting thing that he talks about. And civilization. There is just one civilization in the world, is his beginning statement there. So that's very fascinating to read. And humility. You are not the center of the world. That's one of my favorite words. One of my favorite characteristics of people is humility. Do we have some humility? And education. Change is the only constant. And this is something that I've kind of learned over time, over and over, is I never stop being educated, and I never stop learning about my beliefs. I never stop learning about myself, my why. Sky and I, we met together and talked about our why, our whys, and which is what she's going to talk about today. And I think it's so amazing that someone of her age has started exploring that already and is going to talk about it. And when I was 18, I didn't even know that's something you do, is ask your why. I didn't start looking at that until I was probably in my 30s, and I'm 60 now, and I don't know if I figured it out yet. So, meaning, life is not a story, and that's kind of fascinating to read about, so we'll leave that out there. And the last one that this is towards the very end, I think is final one. Yeah, 21 lessons. Any guesses what his 21st lesson is? It's actually kind of easy. People that practice yoga might know what this one is. And what's that? Breathe. It's close. And they did it this morning. Who did it this morning? The group? Meditation. Yeah. His 21st lesson, just observe. And a lot of times I thought meditation had to do with, it had to be a religious thing, and sometimes meditation is just sitting quietly and breathing. And so I really have found a new love for books myself, and if anybody wants to borrow one of these, I'd sure let you do that too. So that is our lesson today. We don't need to sing that out. We'll let you save your fingers, all right? And we'll go on to our silence. Or no. Next is joys and concerns, so we don't want to skip that. So joys and concerns, I'll see if this other microphone is working. Testing. We're good? So the joys and concerns, we have had this as a long practice. You take a stone and you mention a joy or concern that you have, and then place the stone in the water to demonstrate how that spreads ripples out through everyone in the community. My concern is the election is Tuesday, and I really just hope that many folks go out and practice their right to vote on Tuesday. Any folks have a joy or concern they'd like to share? Coming from all directions. Okay.
Oops. I have a joy. My family's all getting around and are gathering around, and it's a bit of a concern. And I also will get to see my little guy. It'll be there. It'll be nice to get to see him. And my concern right now is that my friend and roommate, she still is wearing a cast on her wrist, and she's getting very, very uncomfortable with it. And I hope that in time she will come away with accepting the fact that she needs that cast there to help her wrist heal up. And she needs to, I'm hoping and praying that in time she will learn to accept it and hope that it'll come time to heal, let her heal. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve. I got two joys and one big concern. First joy, my wife and I had a wonderful time Friday night at Levitt. Saw Mike there. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to talk to you. I was trying not to get run over. But it was really a fun. Big concern. It appears that we may have officially lost the war with Iran. If you look at the agreement, all we're getting out of it is opening up the strait, which was open before the war, and a weakened version of the Obama treaty that was torn up by a Trump. And in exchange, Iran is getting a ton of money. It's, in fact, for your historical buffs, the treaty was signed at Versailles, which is also where World War I ended. At the end of World War I, Germany was required to pay the Allies so much money that it basically bankrupt them. If you adjust it for inflation, Iran's getting the same amount of money. So anyway, I could go on with that. But the good news, I guess, about the war is it's promoting a lot of countries to look at renewable energy is not just a climate thing, it's also a security thing. And I've heard an interesting statistic. In Pakistan today, 6 out of 10 homes have solar panels. So.
Well, I got a joy that I got before I came here today. How about that? There's a new lady that works at the assisted living where I live, and I got her to open up a little bit, and because she's brand new, she's from South Africa, and in South Africa, blacks are killing whites, and when her baby was 5 years old, the blacks put a gun to the baby's head. And she couldn't stand to look at that. She closed her eyes, and when She opened her eyes, the gun was pointed at her head, and she passed out. And they had a German Shepherd dog, and the German Shepherd dog chased the blacks away, so there was no death that day, although there's a lot of death because of this. And she had a reason to love Trump. A lot of people hate his guts, some people love him, and she's one of the ones that love him because what happened was he established a migrant, I don't know what you'd call it, where they're welcome to come here for the whites in Africa that are being killed by the blacks on a routine basis. And so she's here and working for good the Edgewood, which is was what? Assisted living. Assisted living. Thanks. I couldn't think of that. And so she's come out of a very frightening kind of thing and taken advantage of this new program that Trump has instigated that allows them to come over here and be welcome in their situation. So it's a joy. I love the fact that I'm not the only person that likes Trump, although they seem to be few and far between. And another joy is it's Father's Day, and my son doesn't have any children, but boy, I sure do like him. And so it's a joy to have my son in the family.
A concern and a joy. The concern is for my parents who are having health problems, and they were unfortunately they were not able to make it to Logan and Kelsey's wedding last week and my son's wedding. But
Could you speak louder?
hello. Okay. But secondly, a joy. The wedding at Good Earth Farm was last Saturday, and it was a beautiful day, beautiful event. It was a real joy. Thank you.
I just want to express the joy of having David O'Hara here in our Peace Garden yesterday, and a dozen of us were there listening to his wisdom and appreciating the idea of learning to listen and to observe, as you mentioned, with meditation and paying attention. I'm going to write up a summary of some of the ideas that he shared for this week's e-newsletter. So if you don't usually read it, please read it this week.
Good morning. My name is Izumi. My joy is yesterday morning, me and Rebecca and Sky attend yoga at downtown, by the river, Rebecca Reed. So it was so good. Sunshine. It's so beautiful. And after yoga, we went to farmers market and just look around and sitting down the coffee and listen to music. And it was so beautiful morning. And I realized really the sunlight, morning sun is so important for feeling us good. So every week, and we have yoga at the downtown, and please come, and after we can, it's really, that's a good feeling. So that is my joy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So let's take a moment of silence for reflection on the joys and concerns. And our next song, the second song, is 85 in the gray hymnal. Although this life is but a wraith. And our second reading is number 657. And I'll read the bold, and you can read the italics if it has it. Yes. It matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged.
Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies.
Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities.
Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness.
Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences unify the pattern.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction.
Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs mature self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world.
Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
Thank you for your help. And our speaker then today is Sky Kane, and her topic today then is Finding Your Why. Sky just recently graduated from Jefferson High School here in Sioux Falls, and she is the valedictorian of the school and is then going on to school to be a scholar at Yale. So we're so happy to have her here for us today, and welcome Sky Kane.
Hello. Can you guys hear me? I'll use the mic. Hello. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for the introduction. Like he said, my name is Sky Kane. I recently graduated from Jefferson High School, and I will be attending school at Yale University in the fall. And I am just very grateful to be able to share my story today and talk a little bit about my journey. But before I start, I want to do a little icebreaker. I want everyone to close their eyes if they can. Just take a moment to reflect. Okay. I want everyone to think about a dream you have. Maybe it's a goal or like someone you want to become, a place you want to go. Just for a second, I want you just to take a moment to think about that for yourself. Okay. Now, imagine for a second that you already accomplished that dream. Imagine you're standing at that finish line and looking back at everything it took to get there. What kept you going? What made you continue when things got difficult? What was the reason behind that dream? I want you to keep that thought in the back of your mind because we're going to come back to that a little later. All right, everyone can open their eyes. All right, when Alan first asked me to speak, I was very, very honored, but I had a hard time thinking about what I wanted to talk about. So I had to do a lot of reflection. And through my reflection of like high school and my life, and I realized that I often got asked a lot of what questions throughout high school. What do you want to be when you're older? What do you want to study? What does your future look like? And at the time, I would just give automatic responses of what felt right. But in all honesty, I honestly don't know what I was doing doing the next weekend. So when people ask me what I want to do for the rest of my life, I was like, I do not know. But I felt like I was just kind of going through the motions and figuring everything out as life went. So I found myself just kind of going through the motions of high school. I went to class, I got good grades, I joined activities, and I honestly didn't have a really big goal in mind besides the fact that I wanted to leave South Dakota. So, but don't get me wrong, now that I'm leaving, I will miss this place and miss its cozy comfort, familiarity. However, at that point in my life, I felt like I was just cruising. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do, but I didn't have a deeper reason behind it. I had goals, but I never really had a why. One of the biggest turn points of my life actually came from a friendship. Her name is Beth. She's a few years older than me, and she is an immigrant from Eritrea, and she has worked for everything she has ever gotten. Not only does she know why she's doing it, she knows exactly who she's doing it for, and she has a deep passion for education. So throughout high school, I would see her often studying during lunch or pulling all these all-nighters, and she just had such a passion for learning. And I've always kind of have been good at school. I was just kind of like doing it with her. I didn't really have a reason. I was just kind of in it with her just to give her a little like a supportive person to be with. But I think my perspective really changed after a conversation I had with her. I was kind of praising her and telling her how like amazing she is and how it's so inspiring to see her accomplish such amazing things and how I one day hope to be like that. And instead of just kind of nodding and responding, she looked at me and she was like, what are you talking about? You have the potential and the capabilities to not only do what I'm doing, but to do more. And I think that was the first time that someone has ever really told me that I had the capabilities to achieve something beyond just like a dream and that I had a reason, like I had a purpose in this life. So that conversation really changed something in me. And as I continued to see people around me go to top 10 schools at Jefferson, I really started to think about how I could achieve that myself. Beth helped me realize something really important. The difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who don't is not always talent or intelligence or luck. Sometimes the biggest difference is believing that it is possible. I had to change my mind from if they can, maybe I can too, to if someone else can do it, why couldn't I? Looking back, I realized my friendship with Beth and the conversation we had taught me 3 important lessons that I carry with me today. The first is environment. I think there's like that cliche quote that says, give me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future. And it is very cliche, but it honestly is also very, very true. When we surround ourselves with people who are constantly growing and dreaming and challenging themselves, we start to see those things for ourselves. For me, that was Beth, and it was also something that happened to me over this last summer. I had the amazing opportunity to be a part of this program called LEADA. LEADA is a college prep program for low-income, first-generation students from diverse backgrounds, basically giving them like kind of help and assistance to get into these prestigious schools. So never did I think that I could get in, but when I did get in, I was so inspired to just see so many people who just valued their education so much and wanted to contribute to the world in a way that I have never seen before. One of the last few days at LEADA, the founder actually gave us a speech, and in his speech, it was very motivating, very inspiring. He looked at us and he said that every single person in that room had the potential to change the world, and he was willing to bet his life savings on it. And I thought that was crazy. I was like, oh my goodness, I have this man's life savings in my hand, and I genuinely felt responsible. But after that speech, it really changed my perspective on what I was capable of. I had to realize what I was the reason why I was there was to get into a prestigious school, yes, but I didn't really have a why. I had the potential to change the world, but how and why? So after that speech, I really had to look within myself and think about, why did I want to apply to Yale? Why did I want to apply to all these Ivy League schools with the hopes to get in? And I think what I narrowed it down to is that I wanted to impact the world on a global scale. I didn't care about the prestige or like the money that was going to come with it. I really wanted to impact the world on a global scale, and to do so, I had to go to a school that had a global impact. So that really just changed my perspective on what I wanted to contribute to the world and how I was going to do that. And I think it all really started with just that representation that I saw through Beth, through the kids in my high schools that went to top 10 schools, through the people at LEADA who are also achieving the same things right alongside me. Representation is just really, really important, because once we see other people do it, we believe we can too. Sometimes representation and encouragement are what allows us to see the future that we couldn't see before. Which brings me to my why. At the beginning of my talk, I really wanted you guys to think about your dream and your goal, but I asked you guys what questions. I said, what were your dreams? What made it difficult? But now I want you to think back about your why. Think about what you imagined. Reclose your eyes, get back in that moment. I want you to think about your why. Why do you want to do that thing? Why does that goal matter to you? Why are you willing to work for it? Okay, you can reopen your eyes. I think something really interesting about life is that we often ask what questions much more than we ask our why questions. What do you want to do? What career do you want? Yada, yada, yada. But the more important question to ask is why. Because your why is what gives you meaning behind your actions. Your why is what gets you up when things become difficult. And your why is what pushes you when nobody is watching. For me, finding my why didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of time and reflection. I think after listening to that speech from the LEADA founder, I had to think about a lot of things in my life, and I had to think, why do I want to contribute to the world in the first place? And I think for me, a really key just aspect in my life is the job that I have. I'm a patient care tech at Avera, and I started at 16 years old. So at 16, I was exposed to a lot of different things. I was able to see people in their most raw, most vulnerable moments, and I was able to see their family members and the impact that it just had. And as a patient care tech, you're at like the bottom of the food chain. So I really did kind of sometimes feel helpless. Even though I was supposed to help these people, I didn't have a lot of control. So I realized that when I'm older, I want to be able to help these people on a bigger scale, and I want to help all kinds of people all around the world. And for me, that is what really drove my why. a lot of the time people ask me, like, how did you get into it, like Yale? But I don't really think there was a certain reason why I got in. I think I was just really grounded with my why. And I think that honestly is the secret. Once you are motivated within your purpose and your reason, I think it is really seen in your essays or in my grades. I think my why is what drove me to accomplish such high things. And I think what I realized was that I was putting myself in a box. I didn't think I could achieve these great things, but honestly, it's because I didn't have a why. I didn't have a purpose to go beyond the box I was putting myself in. And I was living myself based on what I thought was realistic instead of what I believed was possible. And I had to realize that I didn't have to simply accept what was in front of me. I could use my imagination and I could dream bigger and I could work towards something meaningful, and I think that is the most important thing. My why became centered around helping others, caring for others, and making a difference, and that why became the thing that carried me through the difficult moments. Because the truth is, reaching your goals is not always easy. There'll be moments where you question yourself, and I question myself a lot. There'll be moments where you'll feel tired. There'll be moments where giving up just seems easier. And that's actually something that the co-founder of LIDA said. He brought up the fact that a lot of the times, I included, we like people who are academically driven, like to pull all-nighters and do all these crazy things. And oftentimes, the best thing for you would probably to get some sleep or to think about what you're eating. But when you're so driven in that purpose, the commitment isn't to yourself anymore. It's to the people you are helping, and it's to your why. And I think that's really the driving factor of why I was able to push myself to those limits to achieve such crazy high goals that I didn't think were possible before. And I think through that, when you have a strong why, you have something deeper pulling you forward. So when I do feel tired, I doesn't feel like it's just on me. It's like I'm responsible for the well-being of the world because of what I want to contribute and the why to why I want to get. Now, academics were one way I learned this lesson, and I think that's also just because academics were kind of my thing. But I don't think your why only applies to that. It applies to everything we do. Whether it's our relationships, our work, service, faith, or personal growth, having a why gives our action meaning and it gives us purpose. So whatever your dream was, if it was a person you wanted to become or a relationship you wanted to see yourself in, having a why rooted in that will help you accomplish that dream tenfold and give you a greater commitment to it. It gives us purpose and it gives us intention. Two people can do the exact same thing, but the person who has the why behind their actions often creates a completely different impact because their energy comes from a place of purpose. So, as I kind of conclude my speech, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is to find your why. Now, I can't give you an exact formula to finding your why because I truly do believe that everybody's journey looks different. Your why is personal to you, and it's through whatever passion you have. For me, it was academics. It could be through music, or it could be through art. It could be through yoga, meditation, books. Whatever it is for you, I think it's really, really important and really, really beneficial to take the time to kind of reflect and change that what question into a why. And your why is always personal. It's always unique, and what makes you, you. And I think once you find your why, you're able to contribute to that truth and meaning like us universalists like to find. I think that truth and meaning is all subjective to whatever we find and whatever we resonate with. I don't think you should feel pressured to make it something huge and something big, because I think we can all change the world in simple acts and by the people we impact. So I think through that, we can do a little ripple effect, and through that, we will change the world. I think sometimes it can just be as simple as making someone smile, or just being there for your family, or just becoming a better version of yourself for others. Small whys can create big impacts, and that's what I really want to convey today. For me, my why is helping others. It's my family, and it's just making a difference in something that I do every single day, whether that's just smiling or having a meaningful conversation with someone. I think I can find my why in so many different avenues in my life, but as long as I'm intentional and I'm grounded in that why, that is when things become possible. And that journey allowed me to have the opportunity to study at Yale this fall on a pre-med track, and I think that's really what got me to where I am and what's going to get me to where I want to be. But standing here today, the thing I want people to remember is not that I got into Yale, not the achievement or like the lesson behind it, because if you've learned anything, it's that your dreams are not limited by where you start. They are shaped by what you believe is possible. When you combine your imagination with your environment and your why, you can accomplish things you never thought were possible. So whatever your dream was that you thought of at the beginning of this talk, I really, really urge you and really, really push you to remember to ask yourself why. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sky. That was fantastic. A couple names that come to my mind right away. Richard Feynman talks a lot about curiosity, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg also followed her why greatly. So our offering is up next, and this is where we ask for your contributions. All of our contributions are brought in, and then half of them at this point in time will go to the missing Red Ribbon Skirt Society, which is the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So please give as you are able, and I'll turn it over to Carol. Thank you all, and please come along with me together with the words to receive the offering. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another. Our closing song is number 29, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. You all inspired me so much, I'm going to put something in.
Song
670 is our final reading here. Again, I'm the bold and you're the italics. The way. All right, this sounds great. Sum it all up. Friend, I have lost the way.
The way leads on.
Is there another way?
The way is one.
I must retrace the track.
It's lost and gone.
Back, I must travel back.
None goes there. None.
Then I'll make here my place.
The road runs on.
Stand still and set my face.
The road leads on.
Stay here, forever stay.
None stays here. None.
I cannot find the way.
The way leads on.
Oh, places I have passed.
That journey's done.
And what will come at last?
The way leads on.
Edwin Muir. Wow. That's great summary to a great service, a great talk, great music, great work of all of you singing today. Thank you for everything. And I will extinguish the chalice, and I'll let you go ahead and Scott, maybe our leader who lit it, you start leading the folks in the reading there, please.
The chalice is lit, but the light goes with us out into the world.
you again, Carol. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Terry, for the sound. Thank you, Alan, for helping.